Lesson 14.3, Prisms and Pyramids. So we're going to learn how to identify and classify prisms and pyramids and identify a solid figure that can be formed from a net. And we'll learn about that as we go along. So first, we're going to describe a solid figure by its faces, edges, and vertices. A plane figure is a flat or a two-dimensional figure. It only has length and width. Polygons are plane figures. So any kind of polygon like a triangle, a rectangle, a hexagon, all of those are what are called plane figures. But most of the objects around us are solid figures or three-dimensional figures. A three-dimensional figure has length, width, and height. This is a cube. Each face of the cube is a square formed by four sides of equal length. The sides of each square are also called line segments. The top and bottom faces of a solid are called bases. So here's a base at the bottom and here's a base at the top. The base of a cube is a square. So you can see it. Here's the bases that the arrows are pointing to. A cube has edges and vertices. An edge of a solid figure is a line segment. So this right here is an edge. This right here is an edge. This is an edge. All of these areas where the two sides meet are an edge, which is a line segment. A vertex is the point where three or more edges meet. The plural of vertex is vertices. So you can see that this cube has 8 vertices. So that the sides all meet here, 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 and here. So at all of the corners of the cube are the vertexes or the vertices. And you can see that a cube has 6 faces and 12 edges and 8 vertices. So we're going to skip that part right here. Now we're going to look at identifying a prism. A prism is a solid figure with 2 parallel congruent bases joined by rectangular faces. So remember, congruent bases means that the bases have the same size and shape. You wouldn't have one of the bases be a larger rectangle than the other one, or you wouldn't have one base be a triangle and one be a rectangle. They're going to be parallel to one another and congruent, meaning they're the same size and the same shape. And they're joined by rectangular faces. A prism is named according to the shape of its bases. The bases of this prism are rectangles, so this prism is called a rectangular prism. Any pair of opposite faces of a rectangular prism can be the bases. So these are the ones that are colored here, but it could have been the side base. The side rectangles could have been the bases right here and right here. Could have been these sides, the front and the back, but they chose to do the parts that they colored red. So a rectangular prism has 6 faces, 12 edges, and 8 vertices. The bases of this prism are triangles. So this prism is called a triangular prism. And you can see that it's got a triangle base here and a triangle base here. It's got an edge. It's got a face, which is a rectangular face, 3 different rectangular faces, 2 triangular faces, and some edges and vertexes where they meet. So a triangular prism has 5 faces, 9 edges, and 6 vertices. So we're going to name the parts of well, actually, no, we're going to be doing this in our workbook. So we're going to skip this part and just go to the next lesson. Okay, so now we're going to identify a pyramid. A pyramid has one base that can be any polygon. So you could have a hexagon at the base. You could have a square at the base, a rectangle, a triangle, and you can still make it into a pyramid as long as it has one base that's a polygon and all the other faces are triangles arising from each side of the base. So the triangular faces share a common vertex. So right here is the vertex of this pyramid. The base of this pyramid is a square, and it's called a square pyramid. A square pyramid has 4 triangular faces. So 1, 2, 3, 4 triangular faces, 1 square face at the bottom, 8 different edges where the shapes connect, and 5 vertices. So it's got the vertex at the top and then a vertex at each of the bottom edges. The base of this pyramid is a triangle. It's called a triangular pyramid. So the 4 triangular far include the base. I don't know. They have some sort of a typo here. But they have 4 triangular faces, including the base. So there's 3 sides, and then there's the bottom. So there's 4 triangles in it. A triangular pyramid has 4 triangular faces, 6 edges, and 4 vertices. So it meets at the 3 corners of the bottom triangle and at the vertex at the top. We also are going to identify solid figures from nets. This cube is cut along the edges and laid flat as shown. So if you have a shape like this, you could fold it up and fold it into a cube. And this shape could be folded up into a cube, and so could this one. So you can do some hands-on activities with this, which might be really fun, is you could trace this on your computer or iPad, trace this shape and trace where the dotted lines are, and then cut it out with scissors and try to fold it up and see what shape you would get. Would you get a rectangular prism? Would you get a triangular prism? Would you get a pyramid? And then you're going to do the same with this shape and fold it up and see what you get, if you're going to get a triangular prism or a triangular pyramid. So same thing here. It's a little trickier on when we're using computers. We might not be able to make this happen. If we were in the classroom, we would copy these shapes onto paper and then we would cut them out. And it might or might not work to do this at home. I don't think it's really going to work. So I say we just wait until we get to our workbook pages. So, and we do not have the 3-dimensional shapes to be looking at. So we're not going to be able to trace and fold and those kinds of things on this. But we could go through and explain why each of these objects is not a pyramid. So obviously the beach ball is not a pyramid because it does not have a vertex, nor does it have a flat side. This cylinder is not a pyramid because it does not have a vertex, and it doesn't have a base with sides. It has to be a polygon, which is a multi-sided figure. Okay, and that's the end of this lesson.